Hi, Rosie Finn here, astrologer in Olympia, Washington. And today, or this evening, I want to give you a little heads up on 2026. I know a lot of you are planning and you're thinking ahead and you're thinking about trips and you're thinking about decisions that you're making around your business and moves. So I wanted to give you just a general sense of the flow of 2026. So when you're making plans, you can consider this. But before I do that, I want to delineate between Kairos time and Chronos time. I love this concept. I learned about it through Stanislav Grof when I heard him give a talk back in 2012. And I don't think he made this up, but Kairos time is is when we're in the experience of being outside of time. So Kairos time is when you lose track of time, when you're so absorbed in what's happening that you can't tell how much time has gone by because you're inside the event. Chronos time is connected to Saturn, which is connected to linear time. This is when we're tracking time. This is when we get up and we're like, okay, what time is it? And what do I have to do today? And is it going to fit into my day? Walter Russell in his work on dimensions, multiple dimensions, and he talks about time and he talks about time as the thing that happens in between events. So he's talking about Chronos time and Kairos time is that absorption in time. So when I'm looking at transits for the future, I'm thinking about when is it Kairos time and when is it Chronos time? Chronos time is time when it's really good to make things happen. It's good for starting businesses or buying homes or selling homes or moving. It's good for when we're trying to do something that we want to have matter in the physical world. So that's when we want to be making decisions that will have long-term effect. Kairos time are the portal moments, the moments when we're outside of time. They're better for disintegrating, letting go, experiencing the oneness of life. And we want to tune into the portal moments because the portal moments are when really big changes happen, but they're changes that happen not because we decide they're going to happen or we make them happen. They're the kind of changes that change our soul, they change our whole spiritual life. And so there's portal moments happening all the time. And if you're an awakened one, please teach me. But most of us are not having these portal moments all the time. If you're an awakened person, then that is your experience. It's total Kairos time. But most of us are here in our physical experiences doing the best we can. So the portal moments for 2026. There's two that I'm particularly tuned into that feel very special. One is February 17th to the 22nd. In this time period, there is a solar eclipse, and Saturn and Neptune will conjunct at 0 degrees Aries, this Aries point. If you're tuned into astrologers, I think every astrologer on the planet must be talking about this Saturn Neptune conjunction at 0 degrees Aries. It's really special that these two planets, they conjunct every, I don't know, 35 years or something like that. Don't quote me on that, but they do conjunct fairly frequently, but conjuncting at 0 degrees Aries is exceptionally rare. And 0 degrees Aries is the birth, it's the beginning, it's the very first day of spring. It's the seed moment. So to have these two planets, Neptune has 167-year cycles, so it goes to 0 degrees Aries every 167 years. So that's a rare event. Saturn does it every 29 and a half years. So their cycles, their synodic cycles linking up in this way is pointing to a significant beginning. That it happens during an eclipse time, and eclipse times are always portal moments anyway. And so the eclipse energy is activating and opening up the availability for us to shift. And this is a consciousness shift. This is a sense of moving into a new time, a new age, a new world. We can feel all the cracks and all the disintegrating and the shifts that are happening. I'm really particularly sensing how much we're becoming aware of, even though it looks bad so much of the time. But there's something, it looks like the veneer on things is just cracking. And so, of course, it's not going to look that good because we're seeing kind of what's going on underneath. And that realization and those visibilities are happening. And when the portal moment happens in February is when we can really see into what's beginning, what's starting in all of this. It's been easy to see what's ending and what's not working and the decay. But what is beginning? We're seeing a few little signs here and there of it, a few little elections, a few demonstrations. It's been pretty peaceful in the demonstration land, which I anticipate continuing. So there's February. The next portal moment happens in the fall. This will happen when Pluto is out of bounds again, September, October. And this is when Venus goes retrograde. And when Venus goes retrograde, it's going to go retrograde over the justice point. Mercury will be retrograde at the same time. The second set of eclipses in 2025 are in August. Eclipses are always going to be a bit of a portal moment, so we're going to bring that in. But I'm thinking that the real magic is February and October, November. So when you're planning things, December and January are very good months for beginning things. Everything's pretty grounded in these months. There's no bigger retrogrades, there's no big aspects to be wary of. There's not big retrogrades that we're dealing with. We are right now, October, we've got a Mercury retrograde and we have a few Jupiter and Saturn are changing directions. Planets changing directions are can be real portal moments. So in February, we can tune in now. So here's the thing that's kind of special about time is it's not linear. And what we're doing in astrology is working with the magic of time. And so what we can do now, particularly during this Mercury retrograde, is connect into a portal to that February time period. There's ways to do this. You could just meditate on February 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th, 21st, 22nd. Those days are the most magical of the time. You can also set up intentions for what you're going to do at that time period. So if you say you know where you're going to be in that time period, or take that time period off, I recommend that. Take those 5 days off now. The sooner you take them off, the quicker you can tune into what the energy of that time period is going to be. And I think the more conscious we are, the more we're working on our spiritual paths, meditating, whatever that looks like for you, the easier we have in time traveling and in tuning in. And then we can make the best use of December and January as we prepare for that February portal. So let me go on. March, April, May. There's a lunar eclipse March 2nd. We'll be out of the eclipse energy. It's up sometime in the middle of March. There will be a new moon on the 18th, and that will be the end of the eclipse energy. And by that point in time, Saturn and Neptune will be fully in Aries, never to return to Pisces. Well, Saturn will be back there in 30 years, but that is we're fully in the new energy at the end of March. And then April and May and June are very good months for Chronos time, Chronos activities. Move forward. If there's a business you want to launch, if you want to start teaching a class, if you want to do a workshop, if you're starting a business, if you're moving, if you want to plan work events, those are very good months. April, May, June. In fact, I highly recommend you launch something in that time period because And for some of you, you've got Saturn in the fourth house or you've got Saturn in the 12th, and maybe you don't want to launch during this time period. But if you are thinking about this, it can be a very good time to launch something so that it connects into the awakening, the revolution that's happening over these next 10 years. So take advantage of that time period. August, then we get back into eclipse energy. And I think August is a tricky month anyway. A lot of people take off, all of Europe takes off. It's hot, it's intense time period, it's fire time period in the West Coast or in other places in summer. It can be the beginning of hurricane season. It's just kind of an intense month. I'm not thinking that August is that magical of a month the way February is. I'm thinking it's just a kind of more of a time to lie low and see what starts getting stirred up. Pluto will go out of bounds. It looks like more like that intense energy that could bring on fear or more anxiousness. So you might want to prepare to just have a little more of a chill August rather than trying to do a bunch of things. If you're going to do a lot in August, then I suggest getting everything all set up and organized with refundable flights and refundable places to stay during April, May, June. Get that all set up. You could also do all of this planning in December and January. December, January are also very good months if you need to buy tickets, if you want to set things up. So then take August. If you're a healer, sometimes working through these intense transits can be really helpful because a lot of times people are more in crisis and they more need us or need you. And then we get into September. September's still energetically eclipse time, and then then the Venus retrograde. The Venus retrograde, and actually I'm just going to pull up, I'm going to share the Venus retrograde chart. I meant to share the, see. All right, that's the Venus direct chart. All right, here's the Venus retrograde chart. And this is for October 3rd, 2026. This is for New York City, 3:16 a.m. So that's like 12:16 a.m. on the West Coast. Venus is stationing at what I call the justice point. This is where social justice, there's an activation around the desire for justice. And Venus does this maybe better than any other planet because it's all about desire. So Venus is hanging out here, and I think the ideas and things that we have in February can link us to this time where Venus opens up a massive amount of creative energy. And Mercury is at this point also. Mercury will go retrograde during this. Venus is retrograde for about 40, 42 days. Mercury will go retrograde in the middle of that time period, somewhat in the same realm as the Venus retrograde. So when we're at this point, we can see that Saturn is moved quite far into Aries at this time period. It's at 11 degrees Aries. Neptune is still hovering at the beginning at around 3 degrees Aries. Chiron is retrograde at this time period, but it will be moving into Taurus next year. So that is going to also be significant because Chiron was first discovered when it was in Taurus. So we're hitting the Chiron return of Chiron. And this is the first Chiron return of when Chiron was discovered. So there's a significant healing energy that's coming in. It means that all the people in 77, 78, when Chiron was discovered, are going through their Chiron returns. And they have some significant healing abilities. And those healing abilities will be coming to them, will be arising in them stronger, at least, as they hit 51, 52 years old. Okay, so I want to tune into this. When Venus goes direct, it goes direct on November 13th, and it does so at around 23 degrees Libra. This is the degree of Arcturus. Arcturus is around 24 degrees Libra. So this is close enough. It's stationing at Arcturus, which is a big channeling star. I can't really understand what's going to happen in this 6 week time period. It feels like a real overturning. It feels like this is when we might see some coups, some like a sense of things getting overturned. We might see some pretty radical shifts going on in the justice systems throughout the world. So this may be a time when the economy shifts. It feels like a 6 week window of time to also structure the year around. I have like a little bit of a clearer sense around February because I can already feel this energy. Here's the eclipse, February 17th, very like end of Aquarius. It's even though it's bringing in the Aquarius age, it's hitting the end degrees of Aquarius as if it already knows where it's going. It already knows all the Aquarian energy that's coming in. Venus is conjunct the North Node in Pisces. It's opening up this expression of love. It's opening up creativity. But you can also see that Saturn and Neptune are almost exactly conjunct, both at the Aries point. This moment, as all of these planets are on this side of the chart over here, there's a sense of massive movement forward. So I think we'll have the ideas and the insights that we really need during this time period. And those will be the insights we'll need in order to know how to navigate the Venus retrograde in the fall. And just to complete this introduction to 2026, here's the chart for the lunar eclipse for March 3rd, 2026. And this will be early in the morning. I drew this one up for Washington, D.C. So that'll be 3:38 a.m. on the West Coast. And we can see it's total because the North Node is within 3 degrees of the sun and the moon. On the East Coast, this means that the sun will be rising, the moon will be setting. These transitional places, when it's at dusk or at dawn and the eclipse is happening, I think adds some intensity to it. I got to be in France during the lunar eclipse, which happened at sundown in France, and it was during a time when there was a lot of demonstrations happening, and there was a lot of shifting inside the government during that month. So I imagine here it is, Washington, D.C. I think we will see some big shifts happening in the US. I mean, how could we not? It's all geared up for this. This is just a general heads up for 2026 as you're thinking ahead. Think if you're planning vacations, April, May, June are really great months for that, but they're also really good months for getting work done. August is a month you just don't want to overplan, and be ready for some significant creative energy coming in the fall. Okay, till next time.